That was such a good segue. I was going to talk about Santos and calling him old, which I did for the 4 weeks I knew him. It's like, seriously, that dude got, like, on the plane with me, got off the plane in Germany, because we weren't seated next to each other, gets off the plane in Germany, get to the hotel, I start talking to people in the lobby, come to find out, he's, like, 26, right? And
so old as dirt.
Yeah, so the entire trip, we're just making fun of him for being old.
Is that Unk?
Yeah.
Is that Unk status?
In this trip it was. I was like the 4th oldest student there, and I'm 22, right? So yeah, like we were pretty young pretty young cadre. I was on like the high end of average, right? A bunch of like 20 to 22 year olds, and then like 3 or 4 people who were 26. A couple of people from the other school that went on the same like group with us who were grad students.
I was gonna say 26 is probably a grad student.
Yeah, but I think he was. I don't know. I don't know what he studies. Didn't get that far in with him. I just called him old for 3 weeks.
just knew he was old.
Seriously.
1 foot in the grave, you know.
Yeah,
over the hill.
I think the best one I ever pulled on him was we were in the Vansi house, which is this like. I'm just going to do some explaining on this real quick because it's actually kind of a neat little place. That's the wrong way to describe the Wannsee house. Wannsee is this like suburb of Berlin, right? And a bunch of rich people in Berlin all have an estate there because it's right by a lake. So this big shot German businessman in the 20s makes a bunch of money basically embezzling from the government, right?
Sick.
Basically embezzling from the government. The government finds out about this after the Nazis take power. So they just like ship him off to Dachau. Like, I'm being serious, right? They just ship him to a concentration camp pretty much and take his house. And then the government has an auction for his house. There was like 2 bidders, and both of them were the Waffen SS.
Right.
Okay. So the SS buys this house for like $2 or whatever, and then uses it as like an SS like property, right? It's like basically the way our tour guide described it was Himmler's guest house, basically.
Okay.
And and the important thing, the reason we were there is because this is where they had the meeting where they planned the Holocaust. Yeah, they had the meeting there where they were like, here is the final solution. I'm not going to finish the rest of that document, but if you want to go out and read it, there's a copy of it. That's a pretty good English translation of it that's available. Don't recommend it. It's pretty heinous. It's also strangely dense. It's like really hard to read because they're talking around all the stuff they're doing. So like when you read it, you kind of get the sense of what was going to happen, but they don't just come out and say it.
Yeah. They're politicians like that.
Exactly. Well, some of them were military officers, but yeah, they're politicians and businessmen. And Reinhard Heydrich. Who we talked about last time we had a conversation. I think we talked about Reinhard Heydrich.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're standing in the lobby of this like deeply important historical building, and going on the way in, like walking up and on the bus, we were all doing the thing where you make fun of Santos for being old. And so we get in the lobby, and right as everyone shuts up and gets quiet, I just look over at him. I didn't know everyone was going to get quiet right when I said this. I look over at him and go, hey Santos, why is your name on the Magna Carta? Right as everyone in the room shuts up, and then the tour guide just starts talking. And we were walking around, I was like, oh my god.
Wait, is the tour guide like listening to this?
I think she might have. I don't think she like really understood.
Okay.
She was Canadian, so she spoke really good English.
Right.
But I don't think that was like on her mind when we were walking around. It was like, oh yeah, this guy Santos, he's from the 13th century. Yeah, his name's on the Magna Carta. Right. But no, that was kind of around. I think that was like one of the last couple.
He survived Pompeii. Actually,
he did, man.
Yeah.
He was. He witnessed the first murder. He was standing right behind Abel with the rock, man. He was spurring him on. It's crazy. It's like you think you'd have done something to stop that, but I guess when there's 3 people on Earth, there's not really much you can do, right? I tried to ask him what T-Rex meat tasted like, but he wouldn't tell me. It was ridiculous. Like, come on, man. I know for a fact. I've seen, like, you've told, like, he has told me, like, in confidence, that he used to, like, hunt dinosaurs back in, when he was, not an old man yet, right? He used to, like, hunt dinosaurs and eat them and stuff, and I tried to ask him.
Back in his prime.
Yeah, back when he was, like, middle-aged, right? Yeah. So Santos he's just like he's like a ghost. He's like a character. He just starts showing up everywhere. Like Meiji Restoration, there for that. The fall of the Ming Dynasty, there for that. The rise of the Maratha Empire, he was there for that. The Saudi Arabian conquest of Arabia, he participated in that. You seen that picture of Yoda at the UN meeting in the Saudi textbook? He took that. All right, he took that. Right,
he was there at Gettysburg.
Exactly. Right, he was there. He was standing in the crowd. He was right next to John Norton when he shot Andrew Garfield. Not Andrew Garfield. No, the President Garfield. Yes. Not the guy who was in Rent.
The British actor, not the British actor.
Well, Garfield might have been a British actor for all we know. Yeah, fair played. But I think it was like around the time we were. Yeah, it was like one of the last couple of things we did. Correct. So this trip ended and I stayed after. So I stayed in Europe for like 4 more weeks, I think. And I realized I had gotten the dates wrong on the 28th when they left. So the big group checked out the 28th. Checked out of our hotel the 28th and got on an airplane at like 3 in the morning. Right.
Oh, those are good fun. Yes.
Yeah. Horrible red eye. To be fair, I did the same thing. I got on an airplane at like 3 a.m. in France, but but yeah, they get on an airplane at like 3 a.m. and the day before I'd known I was going to stay, but I had not realized my accommodations in the Netherlands started the 30th. And there was a gap of the 29th because I just booked it wrong. Yeah. So I had to go like emergency book another night at this random hotel we were at in Berlin, which was fun. It was actually weirdly easy. They were really nice. There was a pretty big hotel. It was the Park. It's a Radisson hotel, so it's not a Radisson, but it's the Park by Radisson or whatever. I don't know.
But they have plenty of rooms. I guess.
Yeah, they have plenty of rooms. Especially because I was just like, hey, can I have another night? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. Because they probably don't book it for like 2 days after you leave it, right? For exactly this kind of thing. So that was pretty sick. Last thing I did in Germany, and I wanted to talk to you about this and something I did in France like the whole time.
Oh, yeah?
I went to the Luftwaffe Museum. Well, that's not what it's called anymore, but I think it's now like the something National Museum of German Aeronautics or whatever, I don't know, because Luftwaffe Museum sounds a little freaky to English speakers, and that's like half the people who go there. But it's basically the National Museum of the German Air Force. So they have some really cool stuff. Excuse me. So some really cool stuff. Had a pretty intact Focke-Wulf 190. I want to say it was an A or a D model. Definitely not one of the late models with the N-line engine. It was one of the radial engined 190s. Had an ME-263 Comet, the rocket plane. They had 2 of them. I didn't know 2 of those things still existed.
They do there.
Well, the reason I say it's remarkable because they have those things are like a death trap. Like you think like. If you give me a choice between like the V1 rocket, you have to steer with a stick, or one of those, give me the V1. Like at least the V1, there's a chance I live, right? The Comet, it's like, oh yeah, if the aluminum tanks on the inside are a little too thin and the T-Stoff and the B-Stoff mixes midair, like wrong, it just explodes. Doesn't have landing gear, it has a sled. Yeah, so those things are massive death traps. Had a bunch of other really cool stuff too. Panavia Tornado, really cool airplane. Swing wing missile bus strike aircraft that basically Europe had 2 of them at least. The United States had the F-111 and the Soviets had the Su-24 Fencer, which are really rare in the West, unfortunately, because they're really cool airplanes. They have Gasha. One of these days I'll tell you about Gasha. But they had a Tornado, really cool airplane. Got to see, I think this one was a German, like one of their older, like one of the non-updated German Air Force Tornadoes, because the German Navy ones are different. But it was one of the non-updated ones. I think it had like an accident or something, so it's in a museum. Got to see like the Boz chaff pods, which you're not interested in at all, but I'm a huge nerd. I think they're cool. And I think they had AIM-9Ls on that one too. Well, not real AIM-9Ls. They were like an AIM-9L shell with no seeker in them, because you can't just be handing those out. Even in the year of our Lord 2026, you let like some Syrian guy get his hands on an AIM-9L, and that's like 3 dead American pilots or whatever, right? No disrespect to the Syrian Air Force, alright? The Syrian Air Force has my eternal respect. They shot down an F-18 with a Su-22. That's impressive. That's like atomic bomb versus coughing baby with a rock, right? And the coughing baby won. Yeah, really cool museum. Had a bunch of really cool old airplanes. Some First World War stuff. Had a Fokker triplane, painted up like the Flying Circus red ones. Had a Fokker D6, which is the monoplane Fokker. I'm talking about the aircraft company owned and operated by Anthony Fokker with Fokker.
Yes.
Who's a real guy who lived most of his life in the Netherlands after the Great War. Had some German bomber that's name eludes me, but it was one of the big biplane ones with the sled landing gears. Really neat place. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's like an hour and a half bus ride from the nearest S-Bahn station out into just this random suburb. And then I got off the bus stop. Doesn't go right up to the museum. You have to like walk.
Yeah.
This place is so sketch. Like you have to walk down a sidewalk past a German middle school. And mind you, I'm there at like 12 o'clock on a Wednesday. So I'm just walking past a German middle school, right? Then the sidewalk ends, and you have to walk down an unmarked road. And then when you get close to it, there's a gate that says, warning, says this in English and German, warning, property of the Bundeswehr, the German army. If you're not supposed to be here, turn around or we'll like arrest you. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Then I see like the line that's like, oh yeah, if you're going to the Luftwaffe Museum, it's over here. And so I just walk through this like gate, no sidewalk, no like pedestrian, they were weird for Germany. Walk through this gate, walk up to the Luftwaffe Museum. And then this lady just walks out and starts talking to me in German, and I'm like, I'm American, do you speak English? She's like, oh yeah. And I was like, okay, is there admission? She's like, no, it's free today. Just hands me a brochure, and then I'm just let loose.
I wonder if it's a bureaucratic nightmare, like who actually owns that land between...
Oh no, it's the German government.
It is?
Yeah, no, the Luftwaffe Museum, I believe, is part of the... We do this in the United States, too. Ours are just not publicly accessible unless you have a military ID, because they're usually on military bases. But the German government owns almost all those airplanes. There are a few that are privately owned that are loaned there, but the German government maintains like semi-legal ownership over basically any aircraft that could be armed that's still there, right? So they had like a Mirage 3 CS that I think they got from Belgium that I was not expecting to see. I did see a Mirage 4 in Belgium too, but they're like a Mirage 3. That is conceivably still a workable airplane. Like if you fixed up the engines and you gave it missiles and you put it in Ukraine, they could probably do something with it, right? So the German government keeps a pretty tight handle on all those airplanes. And obviously some of them are bigger problems than other ones, right? Like you let that Panania Tornado go, you let that Mirage 3 go, I think they had a MiG-29, you let that go, you got some problems, right? Like the MiG-29 is being used in combat right now.
How modern did these planes get? Because if this museum encompasses like...
I think the newest thing I saw was a MiG-29.
Okay.
Which is an early 80s design. The MiG-29G, which was the one that was sold to East Germany, which is how they got them, was produced in the really late 80s, like 88, 89. They were used by the German government, the reunified German Air Force up until the 2000s, when they were pretty much all sold off to former Eastern Bloc countries who were operating them in bigger numbers. Because the East German Air Force wasn't huge. The East German Army was pretty big. But the East German Air Force wasn't huge. So they traded, I think there was like a whole chain of them here. Right, where they traded them to some of them to Romania and Moldova for helicopters. Then they traded the helicopters to someone in the Balkans for like artillery or something. So there's this whole shuffle of like former East German arms going to places that were still using them. This is also how you wind up with like Sweden and Greece, two countries that are ostensibly in the European Union and one of which is in NATO. Having Soviet-made BMP-1s, like large numbers of them. The Soviets have them, not the Soviets, the Swedes have them for operations like in like their islands by Denmark and on Gotland and things like that, and up in the far north. And the Greeks have them for all their little million Ionian islands and things like that, because the BMP swims. But I think MiG-29G was the newest thing in there, then the Tornado. They were making Tornadoes into the 2000s. Like new production Tornadoes into the 2000s. They're making new production Mirage 3s into the late 80s, at least in Israel. They're making their copy of the Mirage 3 into the 80s. So some pretty new airplanes, some pretty ancient stuff, some World War I aircraft.
Yeah.
Some prop-driven World War II aircraft. They had maybe the most torn-up BF-109 I've ever seen. I think it was a BF-109G. It was an ERG. That just had been through it, man.
Like bullet holes and everything?
Yeah, like bullet holes. Then it crashed. Then they pulled it up and tried to fix it. And then the war ended. And then they just kind of left it in a shed for like 10 years. And some guy went out and found it. And now it's in this museum. So yeah, that was neat. That was the last day in Germany. Was that got on the Deutsche Bahn ICE Intercity Express to the Netherlands. Let me tell you about Dutch train stations.
Okay.
I
know nothing about Dutch
every other train
stations.
station I'd ever been into. You have to have a ticket, obviously.
Right.
And if you're going on like the subway, it's like the New York subway. We have to swipe the ticket to get in.
Yeah.
And then not necessarily to get out. Sometimes you do. But you at least have to swipe the ticket to get in.
Once you do it a couple times, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But that was only on the subway.
Uh-huh.
Right? So, like, Deutsche Bahn.
So the above-ground trains.
Yeah, Deutsche Bahn, like, the ticket inspector, when you got on the train, would look at your ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then sometimes you would get, like, the ticket inspector walk up on you and you, hey, can I see your ticket? And you'd flash your ticket at them and you'd be fine. Dutch train stations, you have to show a ticket. Not just the subway. They didn't have the subway at this train station. It was every train, intercity, regional, everything. You had to show a ticket to get out of the train station. And then you have to show a ticket to get back in to the train station. And I'm walking through this train station in the Netherlands with my, like, luggage.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, how the hell do I get out of this train station?
Yeah.
I like looked it up on Reddit and they're like, oh, you just gotta flash your ticket. And I was like, man, how do I do that? Because I was using this like stupid rail planner app. It's actually really nice once I figured out, like, once like I got to like be able to understand it intuitively. But Dutch train stations, huge L.
They don't have like exits or any kind of navigation.
They have like emergency exits, but it's the kind of exit where it sets the alarm in the train station off.
Right.
It's not like the compared to like the New York City subway. It's not the ones where you just push them open and no one cares.
I hate how there's sometimes like any big city I've ever been in, anytime you're at a transportation hub of some kind and they don't clearly mark the exits, the non-emergency ones, just the normal ones everyone are supposed to use.
Yeah, it's like, how the hell am I supposed to get out of this
How am I supposed
place?
to get out of here? Because usually at this point, we've made them so massive, right? Especially like airline terminals as well as subway stations. They're kind of so massive, you're like,
they're huge.
Could easily get lost in here.
Well, indeed, when I was in, we're going to kind of gloss over the Netherlands because I didn't really do a ton there. I hated it there. I really did not like my time in Amsterdam.
I'm sure the Dutch didn't like you either.
That's entirely likely. If there is like one group of people I unironically have like contempt in my heart for, it might be the Dutch. It's like them or French Canadians, right? And both those I'm like mostly joking about, but like my time in the Netherlands was awful. So much to the point I straight up lied to the guy at the hostel that my cousin got arrested in Berlin and I had to leave on a train at 9 a.m. in the morning to go find him. I was just going to Brussels. I was just going to the next spot because I didn't want to be there, right? So I left like a day early and just went to Brussels a day early and got a hotel room. Because turns out hostels suck.
Okay.
If you're like me and you're thinking about going to Europe, just fish for cheap hotels.
Uh-huh.
Like, just book them in advance and get cheap hotels. Hostels are just not worth it if you...
So... For Americans who don't know what hostels are,
picture like a summer camp bunk room.
Okay, all
right, but it's full of adults who are bumming around big cities. Okay, so the one I went to was actually pretty nice. It was
kind of like a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, but they're really cheap. They're really cheap. Usually they cater to people who are either super cheap, like me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have a lot of money in the first place for whatever reason. Can't imagine whatever reason someone in the Netherlands might not have a lot of money. Or you're not going to be there very long, right? So if you need to crash somewhere for like a night, they're pretty good. I crashed at the one in Amsterdam for like a night. Wasn't the worst experience. but I hate them because usually the smallest room you're going to get that is not just the same price as a hotel room
Right.
is going to be at least 3 other people. Some of them are going to go up to like 20 other people. There was one I looked at that was like a 30-person bunk room. So you don't have a lot of privacy, you don't have a lot of personal space. Like the one I was at, you had the bunk and the locker under it, and that was about it. And there was a sink in the room, but there wasn't a bathroom in the room. You had to go use one in the hallway.
Right, it was communal probably.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So if you've ever stayed at like summer camp, it's kind of like that, but you pay for it. Well, you paid for summer camp too, but they're complete strangers, and you don't have any incentive to necessarily get to know them because a lot of them are going to be gone tomorrow. Right. So I absolutely hated it. I despised it.
Right.
The only time I'd ever go back to a hostel is if I was going with a big group and we could get the room to ourselves, basically.
Right, like all 10 people you're with.
Yeah, like all 8 people in the bunk room, personally, and you're not going to lose your mind sleeping next to them for 5 days, right?
Yeah.
Right, so that's the only time I would go back to one, or if you find like the magical, mystical one out in the middle of nowhere with like 3-person bunk rooms that no one's at.
I'm pretty sure you would be in an indie horror movie if you ever went to the
magical, mystical one out in the middle of nowhere with
only 3 people.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm down for an indie horror movie. I haven't yet an indie horror monster I can't put down with hand grenades and a shotgun.
You very well might find one out there.
Yeah, well, they ain't found a way to kill me yet, so keep trying, all right? But I know the one good thing about Amsterdam I experienced the whole time I was there. Their recreational substance use policies nationally are much more relaxed, so you can like drink openly on the street, do some other stuff we're gonna gloss over, but like you can drink on the street.
But they're illegal. But it's illegal to do that here.
Yeah, you can do things there that aren't legal here. Specifically in the Netherlands, they're the only ones who are really chill about that kind of stuff, at least for non-EU nationals. Like I know Germany has a similar policy, but only for German citizens. So non-citizens can't do that kind of stuff.
Because they probably don't want Americans and other tourists.
Yeah, they don't want British people coming over and ruining their. Yeah, that actually happened in the Netherlands.
No,
like British men ages like 18 to 25 are not allowed in the stores that sell that kind of stuff in the Netherlands.
That's funny.
Like they're banned from most of them in Amsterdam. Like I saw a sign. I walked into one and it was like show ID if you're from the UK, get out. And I was like, I support this. This is so cool. Best thing of the whole trip. Also,
the rules are there for a reason, though. You just know that they were partying there.
Yeah, they were doing. Yeah. Well, also the other thing with the Netherlands, red light district, very real. I academically, this is something we talked about a little last time, there's themes here, okay?
Yeah.
I academically understood what it was.
Yeah.
And then I, was walking through the city at, 9 p.m. at night, and I'm, looking at my phone, Google Maps, and I look up, and I see, a purveyor of such an establishment.
Oh, yes.
Sitting in the window, doing as they do.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, my God.
They know how to party over there.
They do, man. I will say I have beef with the law that makes all that legal. Maybe not the red light part of it. I think that's a different one. But it's called the Dutch Opium Act. Of I think it was renewed in the 1970s, and it has a 100-year term or whatever. But the Dutch Opium Act, which criminalizes and decriminalizes certain substances, and let's just say I have objections to the list, okay, of what is and is not allowed. We're going to move on from this part of the conversation.
Okay, all right.
Because I'm done talking around that. But yeah, basically the one good reason to go to the Netherlands is their policies with certain recreational substances, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and I've seen, I mean, having never been there myself, I've seen pictures of it. It looks kind of pretty. Yeah,
parts of it are absolutely beautiful. Like Holland proper, which is a region of the Netherlands, is not the whole thing. Holland proper is beautiful on the countryside. Very interesting nation. They've reclaimed the most land of any nation on earth. So the Netherlands has actually gotten bigger over time by just reclaiming land from the sea.
Oh, interesting.
Over the past 200 years, they've reclaimed land by building cofferdams, and I'm not gonna say what they call it in Dutch because it's a slur in English.
I see.
Because it's a slur in English, but that kind of stuff. They're really good at it. Even in Amsterdam, my limited experience kind of being around the sea, it was fairly pretty, at least in the daylight. But now we move on to probably one of my favorite parts of the whole trip, and that was Belgium. I love Belgium. People will hate on Belgium. Belgians will hate on Belgium. I love Belgium.
Are their waffles any good?
I wouldn't know. Actually, you know what? I will know. They were very good.
Okay.
The gluten-free waffle I had was very good. Like, really good.
I mean, I like American-made Belgian waffles, so I imagine Belgian-made Belgian waffles.
They were very good. Also, they're frites. We would call them French fries.
Yeah.
Best French fries I've ever had in my entire life. At this like random place called Patatak in the center of Brussels. Best ones I've had in my entire life. Like, it was crazy. They were like €8 for like a giant plate of French fries.
Yeah.
And I just ate one. I was like, oh my god.
Now, did you have euros on this trip, or were you using
I had cash
American
euros
money?
mostly.
Okay.
There was some stuff you could only pay for with cards.
Yeah.
So that's when those just let your bank know you're going to be. Like, usually if you...
So they aren't freaking out about you.
Yeah, usually if you order a lot of euros before, they kind of know you're going to Europe.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not going to, like, freak out if you use your credit card, but just know it's going to be more expensive.
That's true, yeah.
So there was some stuff that, you have to buy with the card, or if, like, because obviously I had, like, €1,000, like, on me at points, like, in an envelope in my suitcase. I wasn't carrying all that around, so there were points where I ran out and wanted to buy something on my credit card, right? But, yeah, I was using mostly cash euro. I will say their coins over there are great. Dude, €2 coins are great. Such a good idea. Like, I don't know
now, what do those do for you in terms of like monetary exchange?
So the euro is pretty close to the US dollar. It's not like how it was where a euro was worth like $2 at points, like in the 2010s. But a euro is worth about like $1.50, $1.33 nowadays. The British pound's like worth about like $0.95 or like $1.
It's all pretty close, yeah.
So euro, they don't do €1 bills. The smallest euro bill is a €5 bill. They go 5 to I think 5,000. And interestingly, the bills physically get larger as the denominations increase.
That's funny.
So the €5 bill is tiny. Like it's like Monopoly money size, basically. Yeah. Right? The €10 bill is about... The 10 and the 20 are about the size of US dollar bills. But the 50 and the €100 bill are, like, huge. Like, they didn't fit in my wallet all the way, right? And I have a pretty deep wallet. My wallet's sized for US dollars, which are all the same size, but the €100 bills stuck in my wallet a little bit, so I had to fold them, right?
Like, fold them, like...
Yeah, twice. Like fold them like that, so they would actually fit in the wallet. Because I have like a trifold wallet, so they were too tall, is what I mean. So I had to fold them down so they'd fit in my wallet, so I wasn't walking around with a €100 bill sticking out the top of my wallet.
Here, come rob me.
Yeah, exactly. Here, come pickpocket me. I do say I kind of wanted to get pickpocketed just so I could beat some random French guy up. Just because it's like, look, man, you don't rob the guy wearing cowboy boots, all right? Like,
especially, yeah.
You don't rob me.
Maybe that's probably why it didn't happen.
Yeah. But yeah, Belgium, really cool. Some really neat stuff. I spent like 5 days in Brussels. Highlight of the trip, Waterloo. Little town out in the middle of nowhere where they had a big battle with Napoleon. Sort of known as his final defeat. They have a bunch of stuff in Waterloo and like around Waterloo. Like they have a big museum on the site of the actual battle that has a bunch of really cool stuff, really cool story. They have a giant dirt mound with a statue on top of it that was built by the King of the United Netherlands back when they owned where Waterloo is in modern-day Belgium. This is before Belgium existed. It was built in honor of his son who died in the battle. It's like 200 steps straight up with no landings. So I was gassed out at the top because I'm an out-of-shape American, and the last time I climbed anything was a mountain in Bavaria 3 weeks before that.
Well, that's true, yeah.
So, really cool view, really cool place. One thing I will say is if you're going to stay in Brussels, stay in North Brussels. South Brussels is a little seedy. All the people there were extremely nice, but it's a little seedy, a little dirty. I kind of realized that when I got to the train station by my hotel, walked out and saw the Belgian army walking around the train station strapped up like it's Baghdad in 2006. Like, seriously, these dudes are walking around with like FN, Scar Ls, and a 5.7 on their hip.
Yeah.
There's like 3 of them just walking behind a local cop swinging his billy club, and I'm like, buddy, You got the hit squad behind you. Were you like out hunting for Osama bin Laden in the Brussels Zweed train station? Like,
hey, you don't know.
They might have been. I don't know, man. But I kept seeing them even in Brussels Central. And the one I didn't see that was Brussels Schumann, because Brussels Schumann is right by the UN headquarters, or not the UN, the EU national like Parliament headquarters are in Brussels. And I went over there to go to the National Museum of the Belgian Military. Unfortunately, the day I went over there, the first time, was a Saturday. They're closed Sunday. It was a Saturday, and there was a giant marathon going on for some cause. So obviously I googled, this museum open today because it's a Saturday and sometimes it's weird, and they're like, yeah, museum should be open today, like on Google. Go over there, nah, closed.
Yeah,
I was so mad. Came back 2 days later. Really cool museum. Had Leopold III's personal tricycle.
that is certainly a relic of history.
It's a tricycle, apparently ridden as a child and a young man by the dude who committed maybe the greatest crime against humanity of the 19th century. So take of that what you will. Mirage 4000, or Mirage 4, which was only ever bought by the Belgians and the French. Pretty unique airplane, twin-seat Mirage 3 with 2 engines. Really cool airplane. Had a Belgian Gepard 1A1BE, had a Leopard 1A5BE, which are pretty rare. Not a lot of them were bought by the Belgians. A lot of them were, Leopard 1A5s that didn't get the BE kits on them. BE just stands for Belgium. They did some unique stuff like the radios and crap, right? So some really neat stuff. I recommend it. Great museum. They have a bunch of really good First World War items as well. They have a really nice modern wing with like vehicles and that kind of thing, and then they have a really good Great War exhibit, and they have like a really good medieval history exhibit.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they there's like this whole hallway where you can walk through and see, like, I think it was one of the princes of what would go on to become Belgium's like set of personal armor, and like his like sword and a mace. Really cool. They had a whole room of cases of rifle racks and cases.
Yeah.
Just with stuff. They had stuff I didn't even know got to Europe. Like, they had stuff that they like weird American commercial arms that apparently were sold into Europe at some point. Or they had like a bunch of Remington rolling blocks in like 41 Spanish, if you know what that is, right? In 41 Spanish, they had a bunch of Comblain rifles, which were made in Belgium. Comblain rifles. They had the phosphor bronze with the black wood Comblains. They had the treated steel with the brown wood Comblains. They had like everything. It was super cool.
No, but there are a bunch of firearm manufacturers in Europe. So
there's only really one in Belgium. It is Fabrique Nationale d'Armes de Guerre in Herstal, Belgium. I'm a huge FN freak. I love FN. Unfortunately, I don't have infinite money to throw at guns, so I don't own any FN products.
They'll be happy to sell them to you.
I'm sure they would, if I ever stack my paper to the ceiling. First thing you bet I'm buying is like an FNX or some, crap like that. I actually did look up if there was a tour of the FN factory to Herstal, because I was like, if there is, I'm doing it. I'm getting a picture there. There's not. You have to be like an industry leader and come over to buy something for them to let you walk around there. Right. But
this isn't for the trip. This is for personal.
This is for personal business.
This is personal gratification.
Yeah. I do not want to buy something. I want to see what you freaks are doing. I know you have the FN mag prototype.
Show me the machine gun.
Yes, I know you have the prototype of the mag that is literally a BAR flipped upside down with an MG34 feed tray welded to it. I know you have it. Show it to me. Let me hold it.
It's in their break room.
Dude, it better be.
It's in their break room.
Hey, it better be. Belgium, lovely place. Bunch of cool stuff to go see. I thoroughly recommend it. I actually recommend it over France.
Really?
I recommend it more than I recommend France.
Huh.
Their food's really good, too. Like, it's weirdly good. Had one of the best cheeseburgers I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow, really?
At this random, like, beer place in the middle of Brussels. It was great. It is colder than it is here. It did warm up a little bit. It got to like 85 degrees. Only hot because there's no AC in buildings. You have to open all the windows.
Right.
Not too bad. I'm Texan, I can beat the heat, right? It's fine. European heat waves ain't got nothing on 100.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, you wouldn't survive a European heat wave. It was like, brother, it's 85 degrees.
What are you talking about?
It's 85 degrees, windy with no humidity.
I live in a desert.
Dude, I live in a place where I mowed my lawn in jeans and a t-shirt when it was 117 and 100% humidity. I don't ever want to hear you talking to me about heat ever again. Like, you step off the plane in Houston, you turn into a pile of goo.
Honestly, you're just lucky that you keep your shoes. They don't just melt immediately on the tarmac.
It's like you step out and you're like sticking to the pavement, bro. Like, come on. It was a really good place. Again, maybe stay in the northern part of Brussels, but that's more expensive. Another thing I will say, steak frites, sort of like the national thing of Belgium. It's I think they call it like steak Charleroi. I can't speak French. My French is extremely limited.
Well, most English speakers can't produce like French words. It has something to do with
it's like the way they say words.
Yeah.
Like, I can just about get non français, but that, like, you don't pronounce the R. Like,
French speakers speaking English is also quite funny.
Yeah.
When you realize
the chocolat. It's like, nah, man, it's the chocolate. The.
They don't
have a th.
It's funny that like England and France happen to be right next to each other, because arguably the two like most impossible to like
just like syllabically.
Yeah,
it's like so difficult.
They're so far from each other.
They're so far apart. Like, French is just like a hideous language. I hate French more than I hate Spanish, and I hate Spanish so much. Like, nothing against the people who speak it. I hate having to learn it. Is what I hate about Spanish.
French is out there if you're a native English speaker.
It's tough. It's not like East Asian language is tough, but it's tough. Yeah. It's like tough for a Romance language, which are, once you learn one, you kind of learn them all, right? But it's a rough one, because it also has a bunch of weird Gallic stuff from Germany just duct taped onto it.
Yeah.
Kind of like how English has a bunch of random Scandinavian stuff duct taped onto it.
So we have our fair share of German duct taped onto the English.
Well, yeah, it's because English is a German language. That's actually a problem I have with Dutch. It's like English. It's like if English and German were just 35% closer on both sides. So it winds up being super funny to English and German speakers. Like, it's just like, what? Why do you have so many O's? Why is it Oostende and not East End? Brother, just say it correctly. It's East End, not Oostende.
It's fun. They like being.
Yeah, if I get
they like the vowel sounds.
If I get elected president, I'm banning the Dutch language in the United States.
Okay.
It'll be the one that's banned. It'll be
Bryan.
Dutch. Yeah.
Bryan hates the Dutch.
Hate's a strong word. Strongly dislike. Then I was out of Belgium. I will say, took the Eurostar out of Belgium.
No, what is that for
it's like the French. It's a trans-European rail line, basically. Okay. So you take the Eurostar from like Lisbon in Portugal to like Krakow in Poland, right? Not in one trip. You have to change trains, but you can take the Eurostar all over Europe. Took it from Brussels to Paris Nord.
So before you go on, how did you fit in those trains? Because
I was fine.
Really? Because I've had friends about my size take those trains and be like, so they're a little small.
Yeah, if you're like much taller than I am, you have a problem with leg room.
I believe that's what it was.
At least in second class. I got bumped up to first class once because I'll tell you that story in a minute. But the first class was extremely nice. Yeah. I had like gallons of leg room, right? Tons of leg room. The second class, the normal one, is perfectly fine. They have outlets usually on the train, so what you do is just use your laptop and do whatever you want to do on your laptop. They're relatively comfortable seats. Trains are relatively clean. They have like a snack car. They have all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's like a normal American kind of commercial airliner.
Yeah. Picture it like an airplane.
Yeah.
But it's way easier to get up and walk around.
Yeah.
Like there's no seatbelts or anything like that because the train derails. The seatbelt wouldn't gonna help you anyway.
The turbulence.
Yeah. Right. So I recommend it. It's probably the best way to get around Europe. There was like one time I wish I had a car. The whole 4 weeks I was there. And it was in the middle of nowhere in France. Actually, there were 2 times I wish I had a car. I wish I had a car going to Waterloo, and I wish I had a car going to Utah Beach or Omaha Beach.
Both places just kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's because they're both kind of just far from everything else.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of just by the nature of what they are. But yeah, you can get basically everywhere in Europe by train. Maybe if you're older or if you're a very large person, like height-wise or otherwise, consider first class. It's not much more expensive. In my experience, it was like 20 to 50 euro more. But I'm a huge cheapskate, and I'm not doing that. Yeah. So it was a little more. But the one time I did get first class was because I had booked a train trip from, I believe, it was Tours in central France to Paris Nord, the northern train station. There's like 4 in Paris. There's like Paris Central, Paris Nord, Paris Austerlitz, and Paris Sud. And I'd gone from there to Nord. And my train was like 2 hours late. So much to the point that another train going to a different station in Paris pulled up before my train got there. So I went up to the ticket inspector for that and was like, hey, is this my train? He's like, no, but because your other train is so late, we'll honor this ticket. You can get on this train. And he's like, oh yeah, the only open seats are in first class, so you're getting those. So I got a random train ride for like an hour and a half of first class. It was great.
I mean, you technically... You got off at the wrong train station, though, right?
Yeah, but it didn't really matter.
Oh, okay.
I was going to take the subway to my hotel anyway, so it just added like 20 minutes to my subway trip. It didn't really matter. I will say Paris is a relatively labyrinthine, weird city. Like navigating, it's large. It's a very large city, obviously. It was probably the second largest city, the largest I'd been to. It was that or Berlin. So it was a large city. Also, it did not get a lot of its weird old center ripped up like a lot of Germany did, because most of the stuff in Germany was flattened in World War II. Paris was not nearly as damaged, like almost not at all. Well, some parts of it were pretty heavily shelled for a little bit, but I don't think it was ever really strategically bombed. I don't think it was ever really put under siege like some German cities were. Right, so it didn't get a ton of damage.
So they never had to like rebuild it, kind of with.
Yeah, they never had to rebuild it with like a mid 20th century lens of urban planning.
Yeah.
So it's still a super weird layout for a city.
Right.
And it's labyrinthine, and I really recommend getting a good maps app that has walking directions for there. But it's a beautiful city. I spent my last 3 or 4 days in France there. Saw some stuff. Ate some really good pastries. Oh my god, some really good pastries. Dude, pain au chocolat, which is just a croissant with chocolate filling in it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, if we could get them gluten-free in the United States, I'd eat like 6 a day, man.
Yeah.
I'd die of heart failure at like 35. I could buy those every day. Like, it's unreal how much I like them. Like, it's disgusting. Well, actually, it's really, really good, but it's disgusting how much I like them. But most of my time in France was spent doing funny, weird history nerd stuff. So I spent 2 days in a Caen, which is the largest French town that's close to Omaha Beach. I was on Omaha Beach on the 5th, the day before D-Day. That's a sobering experience. I have this phrase I like to say: there's more XY blood in the ground than there is on top of it, but truly there is more American blood in the sand on Omaha Beach than there were people sitting on top of it.
Right.
I have some good pictures of just the beach. It's something you don't really get quite till you go there. Had a good museum pretty close to it. It is a little out of the way if you're coming from Caen.
Right.
So maybe you rent a car or be prepared to take an Uber. I took an Uber.
So do they let people, like, is that a public beach, or is that
It's just a public beach.
Okay.
It's just a public beach.
So it's not really considered like a historical site or anything.
It is. You don't ever really want to swim in that part of the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, that makes sense.
It's available to the public, but if you go at certain times a year, expect there to be some serious historical stuff going on there. Especially because the part I was going to was right by the village. A lot of the landing zones were over by the cliffs to like the north or the south.
There's still some Atlantic Wall defenses intact. There are a few that weren't destroyed that they kept up for like historical reasons. You can go see those too. It's great. Maybe don't go on the 6th. Maybe don't go on the 5th of June. Maybe go in July or in later June or in May, right?
What happens around those times? Do they have like
the 6th of June is D-Day.
Yes.
So they have like a bunch of stuff,
ceremonies,
and it's really crowded.
Okay.
There's just a lot of people there. So maybe go if you want a more solitary experience. Maybe go before that. Very cool place, though. I strongly recommend it to anyone who has any kind of academic interest in 20th century military history, or anyone with family members who participated in the European front of World War II, at least on the American side of it. I strongly recommend it. It's a fabulous experience. Now, what I also recommend is the French National Tank Museum.
Oh, yes.
Which is in Saumur, which is a little town kind of by Tours, which is in the center of France. They have so much cool, wacky stuff, man. It's crazy. I could do a listicle of them for you, but probably the thumbnail for this video, if I have my way, is going to be me posing in front of a French M26 Pershing.
Yeah. No, you can have your way.
Yeah. So it's going to be me posing in front of the M26 Pershing that was in that museum, because it's an American vehicle. But super cool museum. If you have any kind of interest in tanks or mechanical engineering or anything like that, it's a must-see if you're in France, as far as I'm concerned. Also, if you eat gluten-free, maybe the best gluten-free pizza I've ever had.
In a tank museum?
No, in Tours.
Oh.
In the place I was staying.
I was going to say, the Tank Museum had the best gluten-free pizza?
No, it's close. It's in Tours. I'd recommend you stay in Saumur or in Tours. There's more stuff to do in Tours. Especially if you're planning a bigger trip and you want to do other stuff kind of in the region. Tours is a great spot to be. It's a mid-sized city, so it's got some neat stuff. But yeah, maybe the best gluten-free pizza I ever had in Tours. I had it 2 nights in a row. It was so good. Like, I found it on like on like the gluten-free Finder food app I have on my phone. Went over there, got it, dude. Oh my god. I don't know what kind of Italian pizza Jesus he learned how to make pizza from, but I got to talking to him and the weird Filipino guy who worked in the restaurant.
That's funny.
With messed up teeth, who just worked at this pizza restaurant. I got to talk to him. He was like, yeah, my teacher, he taught me how to make the pizza many years ago, and I've been making it better ever since. And I'm like, look, man, whatever you're doing, if I was here for more days, I'd eat here every day.
Yeah, you'd be putting me on your wall. Yeah, I was just such a
I was here like
customer.
4 times a week. Like, God, if I lived there, I'd eat there like every day. Right? But really good if you do eat gluten-free. Apparently their normal pizza is really good too. I forget the name of the business. It's right by the Block Hotels by the train station. I could look it up and maybe we'll put it in the description. Shout out this random French business in Tours. But no, really good food generally in France. And then I was in Paris. Saw some stuff. Tower, Arc de Triomphe,
right?
Sacré-Cœur, Notre Dame. Saw some stuff.
Normal French landmarks. Yeah.
I'll tell you about that off air, because that's not a conversation we're gonna have on air. Is what just popped into my head.
Did you go to the Eiffel Tower?
No.
Did you at least kind of see it?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the Arc de Triomphe a little closer. Some neat stuff. Sacré-Cœur is beautiful to church. Notre Dame's beautiful to church.
Yeah.
Paris as a city is beautiful generally. It's just a pretty city. Their subway line is actually shockingly easy to understand. Now, Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, on the other hand, I hate that place. Why is it like that?
So this was your return flight to the States?
This was me flying back to Frankfurt International, where my flight across the Atlantic was. So I got in my Uber to the airport at like 1 a.m. So I was like, hell no, I'm not taking the train to the airport. There's like this weird shuttle thing you have to get on. It's a whole pain, right? So I was just like, I'll screw it. I'll take an Uber, right? Get to the airport at like 3:40 in the morning. Okay, my plane leaves at like 8 o'clock.
Right.
Managed to actually check my luggage by like 4:40 because I had to wait for them to show up, basically. It was a whole confusing thing. That's the other thing, is the way you check luggage there is super confusing, right? Managed to check my luggage, wind up sitting in the terminal lounge.
Right.
Because they don't have, like, you know how American airports usually are, like, long rows that each have a gate?
Mm-hmm.
Paris Charles de Gaulle is like a central tower that then splits off to other little, circular towers with gates on them.
Right.
So instead of being able to put your stuff down at the gate, either have your friend sit there, watch it, or just don't leave anything valuable in there, right? Or take it with you. Once you get out to the terminal, that's when you go through security. Is when you're right at the terminal. So if you want to go back into the big airport to buy something,
right,
you have to go back through security or just make do with whatever weird little crap is in the mini terminals. So I hate that, because what else am I going to do in an airport?
Does security take forever there too, or
it didn't take too super long?
Well, I guess not, because they're only doing security for a small section of the airport.
So the good thing is they're only doing security for like 30 or 40 people at a time, or up to like 200 people at a time, but usually people trickle in, so it's not usually that much. So it was quick. It was kind of like the TSA here in the States.
Right.
It reminded me a lot of the TSA. Flight across the Atlantic, they always suck, even if you get in first class. I was in economy, so it really sucked. Didn't even get wasted this time. They ran out of whiskey, and I don't drink gin, so
that's
I'm of legal drinking age. I'm 22.
At least they had the options.
Yeah. So couldn't even get plastered this time. Didn't really get plastered last time, but I drank quite a bit last time. Or the time over there, I drank quite a bit. Coming back, not so much. Dude, immigration at DFW. I'm an American citizen. Why the hell was it so hard?
Oh, I don't know. Usually DFW is very efficient in pretty much every single thing that they do.
Well, it was one of those, like, I kind of object to having to go through immigration at all.
Yeah.
Because I have an American passport.
Yeah.
So, like, you just flash the American passport, they let you in the country, like, what do you mean you have to scan my face? Like, what do you mean I have to fill out a customs form?
Yeah. I mean, they literally, Yeah,
you hand them your passport, they throw it down, they put it in the thing, they scan your face, and if you're the same person, they let you in.
Even for transcontinental flights inside of the United States anymore, they'll make you do that, yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I hate it. But yeah, I like Europe. Europe's cool. They speak weirdly good amounts of English mostly.
Well, some of those countries' economies are actually largely based off of
the United States. Yeah.
Yeah.
The United States or Britain. Yeah. So they speak good English. I know, like, the average Scandinavian speaks like 2.4 languages, right? So
that's crazy.
Yeah, the average American speaks like 0.85 languages, right? A real statistic, by the way.
I believe you.
Real statistic.
I believe you.
The average Scandinavian speaks 3 times as many languages as the average American.
I believe you. Well, it's kind of just sad that we can't even speak one all the way.
Yeah. Tells you a lot about the education system. You know, I recommend Europe, particularly Western Europe. It's very, very American, very English speaker friendly. The further east you go, the smaller the percentage of people who speak English is gonna get. Outside of a few specific places like Greece, where it's gonna be pretty high. Obviously, Western Europe is a lot more economically and gubernatorially stable than some of the places in Eastern Europe. Poland's the big exception. They have a very stable economy and government. But yeah, that or Scandinavia. If you want to go to Europe, I recommend Western Europe or Scandinavia. Not the UK. The UK sucks.
Well, you didn't go to the UK for this trip, did you?
I don't need to go to the UK to know they suck.
Oh, okay. Very good.
They have to live with the English. If I had to live with the English, I'd throw myself into the sea.
That's crazy.
So
there's like nothing in England that you'd ever like go to see?
I'd go see Bovington.
Okay.
That's their National Tank Museum. I'd go see Bovington. I'd go see RF Duxford. Got some good stuff at RF Duxford. Maybe the Royal Armouries Museum, Tower of London, some touristy stuff. But it's pretty low on my list. The only thing high on my list there is actually Bovington. I'm a little sad I missed the Deutsches Panzer Museum in Munster in Germany. Just didn't plan right to go to it. Should have done it on my extra day in Germany, probably, and should have gone to the Luftwaffe Museum on one of my free days with the group. But just gives me an excuse to go back to Germany at some point.
Sure, yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm going to go see Wilhelmshaven as well. But yeah, I loved Europe. It was great. It was like one of the best times of my life. It was like 4 weeks of... It was like 2 weeks of non-stop social communication with a group of semi-strangers, right, and then 2 weeks of being completely alone. So it was like a bit of a boomerang effect where, like, I got like my social batteries were just flat, completely dead.
Yeah.
By the time they all left, and then I was so ready to talk to someone, like talk to someone I knew personally. By the time,
right, that makes sense.
So yeah, yeah, great architecture, great place. I love it.
Would you like go back to one of those countries to like live, or like do you think you'll stay in the States? Probably.
I would live in Belgium, probably. Maybe not Brussels, but I'd live in Belgium. I'd consider living in Germany. I'd definitely go back to visit other parts of Germany and France. Definitely.
Even if the flights are murder.
Yeah. Even if flying across the Atlantic really, really, really sucks. Doesn't suck as much as flying across the Pacific, but, you know, the Pacic's bigger, so.
Right.
It's like a 16-hour flight, not a 9-hour one, right? But yeah, I'd definitely go back. I would live in a few of those countries. If I had my pick of the litter, I'd live in Switzerland or Ireland, but, you know, beggars can't always be choosers. So
you hate England, but Ireland is okay?
Oh, the Irish are based.
Oh, okay.
The Irish are cool as hell.
Do you have, what about the Welsh? Are they okay?
Oh, Welsh are cool as hell, too.
Oh, okay. So it's really just kind of...
It's just the English. It's just the English. I despise the English, truly.
Okay, all right.
They're like that. There's a whole other hour of me just talking about how much I hate the English. I'm being like so real with you, like
you're being so rude to the English.
Genuinely, most of the world's problems are their fault.
That is true, though. But
yeah, like basically all of Asia's problems are the English's fault.
Mm-hmm.
All of Asia's problems, a good chunk of Africa's problems, a good chunk of America's problems are stuff we inherited from the English and then handed down to South America. There's
some crazy cats over there.
There are. They're hideous. They're awful. Hideous morally, ethically, and physically. The English dentistry, man, how do you even get it that bad? Like, you have a developed economy, man. How do we have better medical care than you do? And we have the worst healthcare system of any developed country. What are you doing, man?
I don't know. How is the dentistry
it's free, but
industry?
You just gotta wait like 6 years for it.
I was gonna say I don't even know what the dentistry industry looks like. That, by the way, and that's fun. The dentistry industry.
Yeah, the dentist say that 8 times fast.
Yeah.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Yeah, I don't even know
English dentistry industry.
I don't even know what it's like over there.
I don't either. I've never been there. Thank God. It's like I'd be walking around just constantly like, oh my God, I'm gonna scream at him. Oh my God. It's like, oi mate, you would have up down the chippy, mate. Like, I'm gonna beat you 6 inches from Sunday. Good Lord, man. People like make fun of like the Welsh or Scottish accents. At least they're distinct. Like the English one's not even real. You know, they sounded like Americans until the 17th century.
I did not.
Yeah, they invented the English accent to be different from those dirty colonials. Yeah, tell it to the dirty colonials with a navy 3 times the size of yours, you bums. All right, we need to end this one. I'm gonna start like screaming. Like
recommend the European study abroad.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially if you go here to a university, they're shockingly affordable with scholarships and things like that. Do it. Like, it's one of those things that you don't really understand how cool it's going to be until you actually do it, and it gets you credit hours.
I was gonna say, so you're in history. You're a history
minor.
A history minor.
I needed 3 more history credit hours to graduate. This was 3 history credit hours.
Oh,
worked out perfect.
So if somebody is not like a history major or minor, is it still worth it?
Absolutely. It can count as elective credits. So you just need X amount of credits to graduate. This counts towards that. Some fields like education require X amount of credits from every department, basically.
That makes sense.
So we had a lot of ed majors go because it was a good way to get their history credits out and still kind of go and have fun. Mm-hmm. Right. Had a lot of ed majors, some history people. Obviously, I'm spiritually a history person. It's my minor, right? So I've spent a lot of time over there. Then we had some students who just wanted to go to Germany and were taking it basically as elective credits, right? So it makes sense, especially if you are not necessarily going into like debt to pay for your college, right? If you're getting scholarship, or if you have, you know, a fund that's going to expire, or if you have whatever kind of thing you have, if you need to spend the money, right, where if the money like goes away if you don't spend it like with scholarships or grants or things like that, it can be super worth it. It's a super good time. You meet people, you make friends. I I met a random French guy outside my hotel in Cannes, and we just sat on the smoking bench, not necessarily smoking. He was, I wasn't. Just sat out there for like 3 hours while I was doing my laundry in the laundromat in the parking lot, just talking with him. Right? It's one of the coolest experiences of my entire life. Is just sitting out there drinking sodas and talking with this guy.
Yeah.
And with his mom and his sister. Super cool experience.
So is there anything that people that go on these trips, is there anything that they should like be aware of, or is it all like kind of well explained like before you go? And
so when you're there with the trip, you do basically have to be at class in the morning.
Right.
So keep that in mind. You are allowed, you're an adult. Like categorically, if you're under 18, they don't let you go on these. You're an adult. You can make your own choices. You're of legal drinking age in all of Europe, basically. So you can make your own choices. That includes bad ones. So the thing I was told was like, look, we don't care what you do after we're done with you, as long as you show up on time to the things we need you to be at, and as long as you are cooperative with that and you participate and you do all the things we need you to do, we're not going to have any problems. But if you're so hungover you can't, get out of bed in the morning, we're going to have issues. So don't party too hard.
Right.
Especially if you're there with the trip the whole time. Like, obviously, if you're me and you go and screw off and do your own thing after, you can party as hard as you want.
Right. And very many people might have done something similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the people who stayed behind basically did that, including me. Right. So go party as hard as you want after, but while you're there, the free days, you don't have to wake up at 8 in the morning. You can wake up at 10 a.m. and take it slow, right? Because there are inbuilt free days usually in whatever city you go to. So if you are going to get just completely plastered in the hotel bar, ask me how I know that, because I did it like 6 times. Plastered off Long Island iced teas and rum and coke in the hotel bar in Berlin.
That's classy.
Yeah. Long Island iced tea, classy. 2 words that never belong in the same sentence.
But it's in a German.
It's in a German hotel bar. Yeah. Charged me like 2 more euros than they should have. I hate that place. But just like pace yourself. Understand that you have to be places for what is essentially class, right? For 8 out of the 14 days you're going to be there, and 2 of those are going to be days you fly. Yeah. Right. So take it easy on the days you have to be places. There's a lot of walking.
So did you bring like appropriate footwear or?
Kinda, yeah. Obviously, if you do some of the optional excursions, you're going to want to bring shoes for that. But generally, if you have like broadly athletic shoes, you're going to be fine. Because it is a lot of walking, but it's all basically flat paved streets. So it's not super tough walking. It's not like hiking, but it is walking. So if you're used to living in a bigger city where you do a lot of walking anyway, it's not going to be a big adjustment for you. But obviously, if you live in a place like San Angelo where you pretty much drive everywhere, it's going to be a little bit of a change. But yeah, I recommend it. I recommend it flatly to everyone. My cousin did it. My cousin went and did a different Europe trip. It was in Europe. I recommend it. Just experiencing other cultures and other people and other places and other things is just like so important. Like personally, like for your personal development and like being a well-adjusted human and seeing other people as people, even if you can't necessarily be close to them.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they give you credits for it at the end of the day.
Well, and you learn stuff too. I learned quite a bit. We talked about in the first part. Like, there are things you can academically understand, but until you get close to them, you don't really emotionally understand them.
And there's some benefit to that, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of the opinion it should be, like, required, right? But it's absolutely worth it. If I had to, like, leave this off on, like, one thought, it is that if you have the means, just do it. Like, if you have the means to do it safely, comfortably, just don't think about it. Just go and do it. I overthought and agonized about it for like 2 months. And then my mom basically just went, Brian, you're doing this. I'm not letting you not do this. I was like, okay. And like one of the best decisions of my entire life.
Yeah. Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Brian recommends European school trip.
Yeah, I recommend Euro trip.
You recommend Euro trip?
Not the movie.
Not the movie?
I haven't seen the movie.
A trip to Europe. He recommends a trip to Europe.
Yeah, I recommend a trip to Europe.
A bonus if you can get elective credits on it.
Exactly. Huge bonus if you can get credit for it. Like, I got three credit hours to go mess around in Germany for 2 weeks with a bunch of people I consider friends.
Yeah.
Like, I'd sign me up for that again.
Sick.
Sign me up for as many of those as you can possibly take.
Sick.
Like, they're fun. They offer them for, like, everywhere. Like, they offer them, like, Egypt and stuff, too. So, take
Oh,
them.
wow, really?
Yeah, take them, do it. Just don't think about it, just do it.
Awesome.
We will see you guys next time. Maybe not me and Riley. It'll be, might be someone else, but...
For the next summer sessions, though, until then, we'll see everybody later. Bye.
Bye.